Now if you record for both YouTube and Instagram/TikTok, then you'll know the struggle with this one, where you've got a video in 16:9 format and you need it in 9:16 to upload to Instagram or TikTok. Well, today we're going to show you how to resize that in DaVinci Resolve, so you've only got to record once and you can use those clips on both platforms. So the first thing that we can do is come up to this timeline that's already created, right click on it and select Duplicate Timeline. Now the Duplicate Timeline option will just exactly duplicate that 16:9 format timeline that you've got set up, and will bring in all the same clips. Now from here we'll still need to reformat it into the vertical option, so that's what we're going to do now. So once we have that new timeline set up, we can click on the name just to rename that. I'm just going to rename mine as vertical. Now once you've got that vertical timeline set up, you can double click on that just to select it. Then you can right click on it, select Timelines, Timeline Settings. Now in this pop-up, if the Use Project Settings box is ticked, then you'll need to untick that, just so that you'll be able to resize it. Now if you're already in a 1920x1080 timeline, then you can just click this Use Vertical Resolution box and that will automatically switch those. Now if you haven't recorded in 1920x1080 and you do want to select that for yourself, then obviously you can still go to the timeline resolution drop downs and select whichever size you want the timeline to be, or alternatively if you want to just manually input into those boxes, then you can select a width and height and type those numbers in. Now obviously because it's a 16:9 clip and it was recorded in a 16:9 format, when we put it into this vertical timeline and change it to 9:16, you will have these horrible black borders on the top and bottom that you obviously want to get rid of. Now there's a couple of ways to get rid of these black bars at the top and bottom. So the first option you've got is to go to the Inspector tab on the top right hand corner. Under the Transform menu, you can select your zoom function and you can zoom that in to fill up the empty space. Now if you zoom it in, a problem that you might run into is what you see here, where you've zoomed it in but the framing has now become a little bit odd. So if you want to fix that, you can use these position sliders. So the X position slider moves the image left and right, and then the Y slider moves it up and down, so you can reposition it to frame it up exactly how you want. Now a problem that you can run into when you are manually zooming in these clips is that if you've got a number of clips, then you may not zoom them all in exactly the same amount, and that can look a little bit messy. Now luckily there is a workaround for this, so if you want to get them all zoomed in at the same level, then you can scroll on down to the Retime and Rescaling options under the Inspection tab, and then under the drop down for scaling you can select the Fill option, which will fill that image to the entire available space, and then from here you can just reposition it to frame it up however you'd like. And by using this method, it just means you've got a little bit more consistency in the zoom level across your clips, so it can look a little bit nicer. So I hope you got value from that video. If you did, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and we'll see you in the next one.